Hello, friends. Hello, everyone. Koji from Celestial Rhythms. What great times we're living in. We're so blessed. You will soon find out. Well, to start with, I really should say, I've been doing astrology on and off for 40 plus years. I started when I was 17. I have no memory of so many powerful alignments in sequence having happened any time prior in my life or in any historical period. Well, there are a few exceptions, but definitely it's been kind of really in overdrive, the synchronicities, celestial and whatnot. And today I want to shed light on a particular planet and the American nation's moon. Well, the American nation is much more than what the name would imply. This is really the beginning of a new chapter in human history. That was an idea which was so pure, so beautiful. The American Declaration of Independence and, in sequence, the American Constitution is really a piece of art. And it's been given to humanity almost. I'm pretty sure of that. There were higher forces there in play. So what this really means, that moment the American nation was born, that's the beginning of a new chapter in humanity. And we are back to that one last chapter in the book, if you want, before something really new starts. So the moon in any chart is the soul of the nation. In any nation's chart, I should say, to be very clear. Soul of the nation is the mood, the emotional perception, the child within. The moon is also the child within. It's that primordial reflection of being, which is the sun. The light's reflection in the lake, the moon's reflection in the lake. It's all about. The moon is a lens. It's Earth's satellite. In that sense, it's the lens through which we perceive the universe. The moon is the one which shows us the movement of time. Every night it's a little different in size, stands beside different stars. So the moon in the American nation's chart, as you see, is here in Aquarius at the third house cusp, interestingly enough. Third house, the house of communications. And there's Mars and Uranus and the seventh house cusp in Gemini. Gemini is a very important sign for the American nation. It's the Tao, the energy they attract. Whereas in their nature, this great idea of a new world, of a journey into the unknown, with the great attractor here at the ascendant, Therois and Huya. I should actually show you this chart. It's quite exciting. Well, I will do that another time. But Reinhard Messner, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that name. That was the first mountain climber who climbed all the 28,000 feet high, all above 8,000 meters in meters measured. I guess that's where it comes from. Peaks on our planet, he was the first one to do that all without artificial oxygen. All 14. He has Therois and Huya closest to his ascendant. Therois is the bear's power, particularly the mother bear protecting her cubs. It's a very fierce energy and it's love oriented. You could put it in a nutshell. Therois is here, and Therois plays, by the way, a very critical role in this grand square with opposing Uranus, T-squaring Nessus and Orcus. I talked about this many times in the last year. That's really the Nessus is the impersonation of pathological behavior. It's a deep state in a nutshell. It's self-serving. Orcus is transformation. Orcus is alchemy. Orcus is the mirror, in that sense, to Pluto. That I showed you that in an earlier video too. Their orbits are a kind of like that, like butterfly wings. Pluto reaching out in this part of space, and Orcus going to the left side, like the two butterfly wings. So they're both about transformation. Orcus is the feminine part. It's about alchemy. So it's the alchemy of pathological behavior. Nessus and Orcus, by the way, I mentioned that also quite a few times, are in the same signs, pretty much in the same degrees as they were 244 years ago. Because 244 is Orcus orbital period. And 122 years, half of that is Nessus orbital period. So Nessus has done 2 orbits. Orcus 1 since 1776. So this in itself is very powerful and gives a very clear hint what is enlarged, where the focus goes of the energy. And then there is Uranus here in the middle. And as I say, Therois. So this is a very powerful, big, grand square. Therois, and then there is Huya. As I say, Reinhold Messner, I guess that's his name, sorry, I said it wrong. Reinhold Messner. Those of you who are into mountaineering definitely will know him. He's an exceptional guy. Extremely persistent and radical in approach, going for peak adventures literally, and that is that energy which is the armor of that idea of the American nation, which was the giving birth to that great nation, which ever since has attracted immigrants from all over the world, from all directions. And it were the geniuses who chose to move west or east if they came from Asia. However, it's still west. It's funny, it's that thing with the zero meridian which goes through Greenwich, and then if you go 180 degrees to the other side to meet where the two meet, where the date line is, somewhere in the Pacific. So yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. In a way, even people from Asia, when they went to the United States of America and anywhere in that direction, still went west just for 270 degrees or so. Anyway, that is a funny thing about the zero meridian, and it shows why Greenwich is such a powerful meridian. as I call it, Earth's cosmic navel, particularly Greenwich, 1/7 of a circle above equator, the 7 being a frequency of higher dimension. So it's kind of the portal to the higher dimension. Very pictorial, I find, the idea that this is the navel, the cosmic navel. Anyway, we're talking about the American nation's moon. Okay, secondary progressions. Anyone who is into astrology definitely knows what that is. Let me quickly explain to those who are new to the subject. That is the main measuring stick to evolve a chart. Every astrologer uses that. It's the fractal principle, and it's 1 day after birth counts for 1 year. So, very simple. We're going 244 days ahead of that date, and that's what the planets look right now. This is translated into years. So that's 244 days since the sun was here at 13 degrees 19 minutes in Cancer. That's the arc the sun has traveled. In that sense, the secondary progressed sun of the American nation is here at 16 degrees and 32 minutes in Pisces as we speak. This is very slow evolving. Every year 1 degree of the sun's movement. Every year roughly 1 year of the ascendance, midheaven and ascendance movement and house cusps. The moon moving in 1 year about 12 degrees, by average 12 to 15 degrees, so about 1 degree a month. Okay, so where I'm getting with all that? To Pholus. Pholus is the second centaur discovered. If we go back to the nation's birth chart, this is where Pholus is. And look what is here is the lunar south node. Pholus at the lunar south node. So let's look at this for a moment. The south node is where we are coming from, evolutionary speaking. It's the intersection of the sun's and the moon's orbit. In these two spots eclipses occur, so this is a kind of where sparks fly between sun and moon. In simple way said. So the south node is the setting sun, the setting node, where the moon goes southward down through the ecliptic, dives down into the ocean. In that sense, everything south is kind of under, down under, as they say beautifully about Australia. In a way, all on the southern hemisphere is below water, if you want, below earth. It's the nature of the south polarity versus north polarity is up, is sky, is mind, is more ethereal, and south is more dense, more substantial. That's a whole other topic, but what I want to say is that the south node is where we're coming from, yes. It's the collective heritage, the assets, and that is Pholus. So Pholus becomes really important here. Pholus is a seer, a wise man. Pholus is also very dark on one side. It is a complex story. Moon-Pholus is involved in the battle when Chiron was wounded. There's something mysterious, deeply mysterious about Pholus too. Now, Pholus expresses, that's the observation of many astrologers who are working with Pholus. Pholus is showing up when things radically shift. It's like you have been standing there on the jumping board high above water or on the up on the cliff, and you're kind of considering meditating on jumping down this whatever, make that 100 feet dive or whatever off the cliff, really dramatic. You feel your heart pounding, you're looking down, you're feeling your body and saying, no, I cannot do that, no. Then comes the moment, all of a sudden, okay, now, and you're just doing it. That's Pholus. That's when Pholus comes in. Pholus is the daredevil, the one who breaks the ice, who says, okay, now is the time, do it. So Pholus often in charts appears activated when people finally break through addictions, when something of that nature is possible, when you all of a sudden go on a fast and you lose 50 pounds or whatever. It's quite dramatic, yes, and it is kind of allowing for that crisis to occur, kind of almost enjoying it, riding the wave in a way. So this in general is the South Node energy of the nation, of that new idea of human evolution, kind of evolution 7.0 or something, really already quite a high upgrade as we come through thousands of years of history, have gone through many civilizations and social systems. We think back Atlantis, Egypt, then Babylon, then Greece, then Roman Empire, then all the modern empires since Karl the Great, the Middle Ages, the feudalism, and now after the French Revolution, and French Revolution actually happened really in that same window of time. It was kind of you could almost say a seed of similar potential, but I guess in America it went much more smoothly. Whereas in France it was radical, it was brutal, it was dark, and naturally the revolution was soon followed by Napoleon and the whole kind of circling back into the old in many ways. But it seems in the new world, a new idea got their foot into the door. The same I said in 2016 in November when Donald Trump was elected, which I had predicted. I had seen that he would win. He got the foot in the door. That's as much as he really achieved, and that was very, very little in a way, and they were pretty sure they could push him out again, but he had definitely the support, and this chart proves it. I spoke about that too several times. I will definitely come back to speak more about President Trump, as he is a true genius and just happens to be in the right time, in the right place, born for what he is here doing. That's his mission. We know that. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So anyway, the foot in the door, that's what it was 244 years ago. And now we're at that point where this foot in the door finally is able to fully push that door open and get it jump started into a higher octave. And guess what? Right now, look at that. Okay, 658 Pholus in the nation's birth chart, 635 south node. That's the secondary progress chart for April 29. And look, where is Moon? 658. Aquarius. And there's the vertex. Secondary progress. Vertex. Okay, and just should also point out, then there's 816. This is Pholus by progression. Pholus has moved that much since July 4, 1776. For these 244 years by progression, moved from 658, as we saw here, to 816. Now the vertex point. Let's look at the vertex for a second. The vertex is a very, very important point. It's the higher dimensional descendant, in a simple way said. It's almost, this is the corporal 3D physical counterpart. What we attract in the physical world, and this is what we attract in the higher dimensional universe, ideal in a way, the aim of spirit, if you want. So in the nation's birth chart, vertex is here at 26 and 56 Cancer. And by the way, I want to say that again, pass on the kudos to my one of my big teachers in astrology, Dane Rudyard, who actually came up with that time for the American nation's birth. He just did a great comparison of important events in the American history and then matched it with what's called a rectification, which can be done with anyone's birth chart. There's always clients who come to me and say, well, I don't know when I was born, so this is not too hard. If we have 2 or 3 powerful dates in one's history, then one can readjust it, see where the moon particularly made an exact angle to a powerful planet like Saturn or Mars or whatnot, and match that. And when there's a consequence of same results, different progressions giving similar same results, then one can be sure that's pretty correct. So anyway, that is the background of this time, and the vertex naturally is one of these fast moving points, like the midheaven and the ascendant, which basically move every 4 minutes a degree by average. Every 4 minutes of time, 1 degree. That's the kind of the rhythm. So anyway, vertex in the natal chart is here at 26 Cancer, narrowly conjunct the part of fortune. This in itself is quite an important and powerful message, that the real aim of this chart is to meet the higher dimensional Tao. It's really in a simplistic way said, this is kind of the aim to grow spiritually. And it's a beautiful degree. That is hexagram 56 here at the end of Cancer, overarching into Leo. Hexagram 56, the overlay, which is information which was given by the Human Design System, the 64 hexagram overlay. Powerful. I really am encouraging all my fellow astrologers to start using that. It's giving unbelievable results. I love the Sabian symbol, but this is yet another layer of complexity. Hexagram 56, fire on the mountain, the wanderer. It's that restless spirit of search, of going even further, the wanderer, the hermit, burning the ground behind oneself, always onwards into crossing the desert. It's a very exciting energy because it opens the mind, and Mercury is here too in this area. So this is a beautiful configuration here up in the 8th house. So anyway, vertex by progression is down here. Has been touching on Pholus, and let's just look at this exactly. I prepared this here. I have the animated chart for secondary progressions here. I already moved it forward here, so I can now activate that and go backward in time, and now we are watching this degree going back to 658. I just want to see when that was exactly, so I do this. Now this goes kind of slowly. You see we're going here backwards in time, and 736, okay, 30, that is now February 2021, 720. So we're stopping at 658. Let's see how exact I get it. Okay, I guess I just got it. So that was remember what was November 4? November 3rd? You remember? Yeah, sure you do. The American elections. How about that? I like that. I just discovered this, by the way. I didn't know about that. I'm baffled. This is powerful. Just proves again how precise this chart is. Yeah, astrology is amazing when you have that amount of exactness and a birth time. Then yeah, you can pretty much see things to the day showing up in ways like that. So anyway, what does that show? That shows that this was the big turning point. Period. Yeah, very simple. Fits totally like a fist in a glove. I don't know if that makes sense. Something like that. Perfect match. And look at what was the case here with the Moon. Now this one I had been aware of, but not that one here, that the vertex was connecting with Pholus on that very day of the elections. Yes, you see it's still 58 even a day before, because this is a very slow movement. 57 on the 2nd, yeah, 58 on the 3rd of November. And the moon had just entered Aquarius. Let's go back a few more days and see when that was. Here we go. On October 29, just 4 days before the elections, the progress moon entered Aquarius. Yes, see, 29:59 on the 28th. Anyway, this was exciting in itself, which showed that a new chapter was starting, which certainly did. And it threw us in the deep end, for sure. I mean, I had kind of foreseen that, and I didn't really want to go into it because it seemed not right. Dark times were ahead. We had powerful, beautiful alignments too, but what really hurt to see was this one here. That was back in October. Yeah, I had my suspicions. Something was looming. Let me put it that way. I expected this to express in a different way. I expected this to express in the persecution and the eventual exposure officially in a Nuremberg trial situation and possible executions following. That kind of scenario I saw in this Nessus signature here. Remember, this is the secondary progressed Nessus, and the natal degree is 900, so that was still ahead and is still a little bit ahead as of now. Let's just quickly jump back to the now, then you see where we are here degree wise. So as of now, April 29, we are at 852 Pisces. We have passed progress Nessus here, but we're still heading toward natal Nessus at 900, so that's still another 8 weeks away or so. So we're not out of the deep end yet. But as I say, the big breakthrough really has occurred on election day and those few days prior when the moon entered Aquarius, that new chapter. Now Aquarius, and again I'm now referring to the oracles, the I Ching oracles, the overlay, the very last segment of Aquarius, of Capricorn looping into Aquarius is hexagram 60, which is restraint, which is a very interesting hexagram, particularly so as in this hexagram we had the great Jupiter-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees 29, I guess, within that hexagram 60, restraint. Jupiter-Saturn being kind of the birth of a new socio-economic cycle, a new subchapter in the evolution of societies, of the collective. Hexagram 60, restraint, it's the lake on top of the mountain which only can hold so much water. So, which is a beautiful image, as they all are, all these Chinese hexagrams. They're so rooted in the natural world, and they give us these deep symbols of elements, elemental forces interacting. So hexagram 60, restraint, means we can only take so much. There's such an abundance out there now opening, so many doors at once, and we have to be very careful not to get overwhelmed. That's what this really means. These 20 years, I said it a few times, that hexagram 60 does us of great service. It's of great service. It allows to open the door just very slowly just let as much light in of that bright, blinding, and of that loud, blasting new energies. Just let them in, dripping them in first, because we would just be rolled over like a steamroller. That's kind of what I'm sensing. And so that was that's the very first 2 degrees of Aquarius. That's how far it loops in, this energy of hexagram 60. Then is hexagram 41 degrees. And this was, I mean, it's so amazing. You can pretty much by the day. Let's go here. I want to see play it for you when the moon crossed the 2 degree mark of Aquarius, and you will remember that was a turning point again. So we are here at 140. Okay, a little bit less. Here we are, 2 degrees 00 Aquarius, December 20. Okay, how about that? Remember what December 20 was? That was not just the winter solstice, but the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction we just talked about. Yeah, certainly another important turning day. And it so happened that Hilanome, see, is here too at this degree. Hilanome, who takes on a sacrifice. As the myth goes, Hilanome was married to Ceres, who also got honored by a centaur. These are both centaur planets. Ceres is a young, beautiful man. Hilanome is his bride, his lover. So Ceres gets killed in battle. And what Hilanome does, she kills herself with the sword to follow her beloved, to be together with him again. She sacrifices her life to be with him. That's the level of sacrifice. So this alerted me when I had seen all this ahead of time, that yes, we would go through quite a deep phase. And the bottom line of Hilanome is healing, because it's a healing. When you're able to sacrifice anything, even your life, this is a deep surrender to what is required, what is necessary to get from A to B, to go to the next level. So here at the doorstep of this new hexagram 41 decrease also, and I pulled that up, I want to show it to you. 41, here it is, right, decrease. The lake below and mountain above. This hexagram represents a decrease of the lower trigram in favor of the upper. So this line has been given to this hexagram, to this trigram, to the upper part. It's the lower is taking a hit in favor of the higher. How about that? It's a true sacrifice too. Decrease, yes. It's that position we have been in. And again, when I say we, yes, I'm Canadian, but I'm also American. In that sense of what I explained, in that spirit of the new world. In that sense, yes, we all have been going through a phase of sacrifice, and this is still going on for a couple more weeks. Let's just now go back to where we are right now. Let's just roll it forward through January. Let's just stay with it for a minute. So let me stop it here, right here. And I will tell you why. So I'm looking for the entry point into the next hexagram for the vertex point. 730, that is hexagram 19. That is a radical change. So vertex, the focus in that sense, started shifting into a new direction by the end of March, by the beginning of April. That's pretty much now 1 month ago. And I guess we all experienced that in our own way. March 29, a date which definitely was engraved in history. That was the day when the Ever Given was afloat again. That day of super high tide, which was again a wonderful symbol on many levels. This day started a new chapter, as I showed you also in the Mayan calendar. We entered a new castle on that date. The castle, the central, it's the blue western castle of transformation, which started March 29, goes into May 19, and now see that. Now we watch for the moon to change also into this next hexagram, and we again do the same thing, just fast forward here through time to some time traveling. That's what astrology really is, and we go into May 17, May 16. Remarkably close to that end date of the 52 days of transformation before we get into the yellow southern castle of exuberance, I forget the exact word, but it's the way when things really start sparkling and shining, when the transformation, the core phase of the transformation is over. So again, there's, as I said at the beginning, there's so many amazing synchronicities. One of those being the Mayan calendar, totally aligned with the present creation cycle, I would call it. That's always a new creation cycle starts with a solar eclipse, particularly when it's a total solar eclipse. The last one was on December 14. On December 15, we had the first day of the new Mayan calendar round, 260 days, which is galactic time, as I'm also referring to here and there, doing some update on that. Anyway, the long and short, May 16, that's when the moon, progress moon, shifts, pulls even with the vertex point, which should be around the time when really a big breakthrough is happening. I said it also weeks ago, May is the critical month, the super critical month, and particularly between the 8th and the 19th, somewhere in that window, we will see massive, massive, massive changes. Yeah, period. That's what it will be. I mean, no surprise with Uranus up high here overall, which is a multi-year aspect, and we're just getting closer to it. That's another 1.5 years away, roughly. Which brings us into the end of 23, early 24. So yeah, big revolutions, big changes, big shifts, big openings. Uranus naturally stands for energy, for free energy, as it's by transit in Taurus. Most particularly, Tesla had Uranus and Pluto and Taurus in his birth chart. And that's where Uranus is again here, in that area. So just saying, Uranus is one of the key players of our present time, naturally also the ruler of the sign Aquarius. So anyway, the last but not least, I want to talk to you about hexagram 19, approach. That's the energy of spring. Approach. It's below is the lake, the joyous, above is earth, the receptive. The Chinese word Lin, the name of that hexagram, has a range of meanings that is not exhausted by any single word of another language. The ancient explanation in the Book of Changes gives as its first meaning becoming great. Okay, how about that? Make America great again. Okay, maybe you're just about to arrive there. What becomes great are the two strong lines growing into the hexagram from below. These two guys. The light-giving power expands with them. The meaning is then further extended to include the concept of approach, especially the approach of what is lower. Finally, the meaning includes the attitude of condensation of a man in high position towards the people, and in general the setting of work to work on affairs. This hexagram is linked with the 12th month, January-February, when after the winter solstice the light power begins to ascend again. Well, you see, you don't have to take everything literal in these descriptions. Many things are interpretations by the translators too, or ways it can be seen. And again, there's many levels of expression, as it is also with planets. So overall, I guess the main meaning is becoming great, and I like that. And I want to end it on this. So again, enjoy the ride. It's May 1st today. We are just entering month 13. This is the month of transformation. 13, according to the 9, who had given us that prediction in early May 2020, pretty much exactly a year ago, that it would be a 13-month period, which was called the 2020 event, which was the slow erosion and overtake of the deep state. That's how long it would take. They predicted that. And it seems we are now in the final month. Okay, fasten your seatbelt and sit back and hold the ground and be with all those who still are about to awaken. We are the ones who have been here to be prepared to hold the hands of all those who will be so surprised, and it's not their fault. We were just lucky that we had a little foreknowledge. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Have a great night, and thanks for joining and listening. And please give it a like if you do like it, and maybe you even want to share it. Bonne nuit, good night, love you all.